when we go to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
The last video we recorded, I'm not
And
sure
the one
it's
before
going to
that?
yeah. We mentioned specifically how culture isn't like a crystallized thing. It's always changing. And I think that it's high time for a major cultural shift. My question to you is, when do you expect to think like the next cultural shift will happen?
This is gonna... I know we've made this joke a million times, but I really do think this. When we go to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space! No, but I really do think that once we start exploring space and once we... Well, not exploring, but like actually physically going to space a lot more, I think that's when the next cultural shift is going to happen. Because if you look throughout history, it has always taken either war or some astounding scientific research and what's it called? Discovery, yeah, sorry. To start the motion of cultural shifts. And with how technology was progressing in the past, with how much it's progressing now, it's night and day. In the past, technology changed every 100 or so years. Now it changes daily. To the point where that change makes no difference on the everyday life. However, if we start physically going to space, I really do believe that the cultural change is going to happen not because of countries fighting who's going to be first in space, but because humanity is going to have another chance to colonize another planet, to start creating life somewhere else. And to the point where it won't be just a single country, it's going to be like the space station. What's it called again? With the astronauts from every single country?
The National Space Station?
National Space Station. International, yeah. Where you're going to have a huge mix of cultures, huge mix of people, to the point where globalism is going to reach its high point. Because at least according to me, globalism is the melting of cultures. So we're going to need something so astounding to start the next shift.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
I think it's gonna come sooner, and I'm not as optimistic about the next cultural shift because like everything repeats in cycles, right?
Yeah.
Like everything always repeats in cycles, and there's certain like elements that are noticeable always before a great cultural shift. Elements like certain empire being like dominant force in the world. Elements like major social unrest, no unifying idea, sicknesses. But yeah, I think the most like significant of those is the lack of a single unifying idea. And I don't think there's like a better explanation for like our time and like society or whatever, like existence. I expanding into existence nowadays as a human, and like lacking a single idea. And it's bound to happen sooner or later. But you know what worries me?
What's that?
It's like a pressure pot. If you look at certain like cultural factors that triggered upheaval in the past and compare them to now it's much worse, but there's still relative peace. And that's what worries me, because unrest really is like steam in a pressure pot. It builds and builds and builds and builds, and when it finally pops, you don't know what damage there's going to be. You just know that the more pressure there was, it's going to be higher, and I'm concerned how high it's going to be. My main concern is like, I know society isn't going to survive in the form it is now.
Yeah.
The question is, how easy will it be to repair it after that?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. The reason why I don't agree with you is because, thanks to the internet, as much as I hate it, there has been a shift in cultures all over the world because of the internet. And the only thing that can happen, at least what I think, because as an anarchist, I am optimistic for the future, it's just going to speed up the process of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It won't be going in a new direction. It's just going to continue building and building. But the moment we go to space, at least according to me, sources, but when we go to space, there will be a complete new aspect, horizon, because it's gonna be something we've never experienced before, and we'll have to adapt to the new challenges, to the new obstacles, and the only way to do that is through a cultural shift. Because, like I said, everything you said makes sense, but I don't think that's gonna change that drastically compared to trying something new. Like, for example, every single movie that's talking about the apocalypse or about alien invasion, you see the whole world with its differences coming together to beat the obstacle. And after that, the whole world has a new outlook on life. And that's what I think needs to happen for the cultural shift. Like, I know it's movies, I know it's mostly in the States, but still, it's a nice foundation, at least for me.
Carl Sagan has a nice book about this.
Who?
Carl Sagan has a nice book about this, how he hypothesizes that people would start exploring space and uniting. You know what my main concern is with this? So long as we continue down the cultural trajectory we're going now, our first foray into space won't be for like the general betterment of humanity or exploration, have you? It'll be as a result of corporatism.
Yeah.
It'll be some corporation wanting to make a profit somehow. And there's so many space rocks out there that are like abundant with resources. Like quite recently, I heard like scientists discovered this one asteroid that had enough resources to basically make everybody on Earth a billionaire. Everyone, every single person. And like, I'm more inclined to believe that we'll start heading for space just so we can mine those resources.
Yes.
And in the current liberal democratic free market, the corporations are going to do that.
Democratic.
Liberal democratic. You see, there's a difference. And that's just so sad. It's not, no, I won't say it's sad, it's more concerning. I find it more concerning because, this could sound so ironic, but corporations are already ruining the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
imagine
not-
if they started doing that to space. Imagine if they started doing that to space as well.
I mean, I get, and I do think it's gonna start that way. I really do think it's gonna start that way because we have the first outer space hotel that's the billionaires want to build. There's like, oh, we should go to the moon. We should build hotels on the moon. I do think it's gonna start like that. I really do. But the thing most people don't take in consideration is how the economy is gonna change. Because once you have those interplanetary exchange, no, ultraplanetary, sorry, you cannot base it off of the economics on one planet. The moment, I'm not talking about immediately, but like after 100 years, once people start living on a different planet, yeah.
That's too optimistic.
I know.
Here's what
I know.
Here's what I think. You just don't change that easy because to think like that, you have to uproot your mentality. If you go into space and with the same mentality we have, and like, okay, this is mine, this rock is mine.
Yeah.
It's not gonna change. You're just gonna have more abundant resources.
Well, I like
the,
that you're
irony,
thinking.
the irony won't be fun because there's one statistic that I love that they basically took smog in this mountain of wealth. Someone calculated, did the math, and like a set amount of billions. Smog won't even be the top 10 richest people in America.
No.
And you remember from the movie how much money he had?
Yeah, no, I know. But the thing is, you mentioned empires before, right?
Yeah.
What happened with the United States? How did it come to its independence?
revolution.
because they didn't want to pay taxes to someone who was not connected with them. I believe that's what's going to happen on whatever planet or moon or whatever we decide to colonize. Because we are going to start, I mean, we as people from Earth are going to start taxing the other planets. Why should they pay? It's going to happen again because, yes, everything is circular, everything repeats itself.
Yeah, but the problem is like how do we better humanity as a whole, not a certain part.
No, listen, yeah, that's true, but you cannot better humanity as a whole. You cannot. That's impossible. Unless you hit the restart button, that's impossible. But why I'm optimistic about the cultural shift being space? Because history has proved time and time again that the further you are from a place, the more, like, the harder it's gonna be to control them. And after 100,000 years, whatever, of course, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be a long process. But the first real cultural shift that's not an adaptation of something, I really do believe is when a moon, a planet, or whatever we colonize is gonna start being independent. Because then you will have two objects, two galactic objects that are so far apart from each other, but they have to coexist. And you won't be able to have the same culture. That's when that shift is gonna turn. On Earth, we're gonna be more united as Earthlings, and then on whatever planet, let's say, I don't know, Titan. Titan is gonna have its own culture, and then we'll have to make another melting point, which is gonna prolong the process, but it's still gonna be in a new direction that has never happened. Yes, I know it's very optimistic, even though we're talking about a revolution, but still, that's what I truly believe. Because until then, we're just gonna have to build on what we already have. Like the pandemic, sure, it was a cultural change for Europeans. Asians always wore those masks. You know, like, it's still gonna be something that's present, but it's just gonna spread. It won't be a shift. It's just gonna be improvisation and improvement. And I do not
see. This is where we don't agree. You say improvement. I say change. Change doesn't necessarily mean improvement.
True. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Change, but still, it's building on something we already have. And for me, that's not a shift. For me, shift is going into a completely new direction. And that's why I think it's either space or a galactic war, which is never going to happen in our lifetimes.
We're lame.
But maybe the colonization might happen in our timeline. That's why I'm more optimistic about that. That's just my opinion.
Let's hope.
That's my theory.
Okay.
A space theory.
Thanks for watching.
But yeah, do you have anything to tell?
No, I'm good.
Then thanks for watching. Leave a subscribe, but leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.